Prince coming on Wednesday. Can't wait for that. I'm the Resurrection, says Endless Sword. Well, let's start with where this is and we'll get into the chat. So basically, a sports business outlet called Sportico put a story out this afternoon saying that people close to the negotiations have said that Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Qatari bid, his most recent bid for Manchester United appears to be in the ballpark of £6 billion, $7.3 billion. People close to the Man United negotiations say Sir Jim Ratcliffe's revised offer of $5 billion, including debt, does not match Sheikh Jassim's offer. And Sheikh Jassim's party had 2 more rounds of meetings with the Glazers last week, in addition to that one meeting that they had. I mean, that's the story, and I think that it's sort of landed in the United fan base, and people don't really know what to say about it. I know what I want to say about it. I do agree with the first person. In the absence of evidence, I will side on the side of not believing it, and I will explain to you why. Because there's many little tactics you could have, but if we go with what we've been told, Zach Johnson, thanks for being a member for 8 months. If we go with what we've been told that the initial bid from Qatar was around £4.5 billion, and then we were told that the second bid was going to be around £5 billion, and now this comes out saying 6. So for me, that just seems ridiculous that they would go that high, and I don't think that these people are people who just throw silly money around. I don't believe it. If it's true, I've got to be honest, I'd be over the moon, because let's just get this done as soon as possible. Pay the price that the Glazers will take and get rid of them. I mean, what's not to like about that, apart from they're taking money they don't deserve? I just don't think it's true. What I will say is, though, that people who are saying it's not true are doing it because who is this source? What do they know? Well, the brief information I've gathered, and that worries me a little bit because it's not easy to gather information on them, is that it's a sports business outlet. Well, I've got to be honest. If we're dealing with business, I've always said this is not a transfer. This is not about who's starting in the match next Sunday or Saturday. This is business. It was Sky News who broke that Man United was for sale. I would probably be more inclined to believe a sports business journalist over a Simon Stone or a James Ducker or a Laurie Whitwell or a Mike Keegan, simply because they're sports journalists and they may well have good sources, but this is business, and I think it's a different raft of sources. It could be true. I don't think it is true. My personal feeling is that we still do not know what these next round of bids are, and I would side with what Mike Keegan was saying in his article, that these next bids from Qatar and Ineos will not be near what the Glazers want. So it'd be weird if... I mean, look, but on the other hand, you're talking and thinking as you're doing it, maybe their bid was going to be about $5 billion and they've just gone, you know what, we want the club, let's just give them what they want and get rid of them and get on with it. I mean, it could be possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but what I would say is I'm not flat out disbelieving it, but I'm not just going to believe it. I think we need a little bit more than that for me to start going, yes, this is going to happen. I'd like it to be true, but at this moment in time, I'm not going to believe that it is true, because I just think, it's almost too good to be true, isn't it? Glazers are dragging it out and enjoying it. At some point, the bidders will get to a point saying, take it or leave it. I'm done being a hostage, says Class YX. Thank you very much. Ziliakas interview. I think it's too idealistic for our size. He looks like 3/4 Mark Hamill, says Rastolin. Well, look, it's a very good interview, and whatever you think about Ziliakas, who's the Finnish billionaire who obviously wanted to do this fan ownership model, he was good enough to come on the United Stand this afternoon. It was a good interview with Beth, and I'll say what I enjoyed the interview, and I would agree. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's very idealistic, and that's to his credit, and it was very well thought out. I just don't think it's going to get anywhere, if I'm being completely honest. Evening Mark, too many sources are saying different things. It's hard to digest any of the news, says Mr. Tony. Well, it is, and I think that's the importance of these sort of chats, isn't it? Look, people get very frustrated. People start saying, people are just, we're a community. I've said that many times. I was talking about this last night as well. We're a community. It's not like we haven't been going live at 8 o'clock for 7 years every night. Sometimes there's not a lot to talk about. Sometimes there's loads to talk about. I sometimes think that these shows are, more valuable at times like this, where it is hard to decipher what the truth is and what's not the truth. And I think that we learnt a lesson on Wednesday, which I said would happen, whereby people are telling us what's going on and then suddenly it didn't happen. We were told at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night that the 2 bids had gone in, and then at 9:05 we were told, they thought they had, but they haven't. So nobody knows what's going on. I wouldn't discount anything at this stage. What I would say is that there was quite an interesting update from a journalist from the Middle East about a couple of hours ago, saying that effectively I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. So Jim Ratcliffe's offer hasn't not even come close to that Al Thani has put in. Now, whether that's true or not, there seems to be a positive spin of publicity around the Al Thani Qatari bid tonight, doesn't there? That Sir Jim Ratcliffe is nowhere near it. Where it's going to go, we'll have to just wait and see. But I'll tell you what, I'll tell you something for free. What would a modern United logo look like, says Blaze? I'm not really interested in all that sort of stuff, to be honest with you, Blaze. Lucas, welcome to the Members Club. And that business company were the first ones to break the Chelsea sale. Read into that what you will, says James. Well, I'm glad you reminded me about that, James, because Sportico did brief quite early on the Chelsea sale a year ago. You're right. That doesn't mean they're going to be right this time, but all I would say is it would be really, really surprising if we've heard all week about a 5 billion bid and then they go to 6 billion. I mean, it's a lot of money to go up $1 billion. It would get them the club. Maybe that's the plan, but I don't know. And what I will say is, and it's pure speculation, I do not think Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid can be anywhere near that of the Al Thani bid. I don't think it will be. And remember, when he bid for Chelsea, he wasn't anywhere near Todd Boehly's bid. He just said it was the best bid and tried to get Chelsea for cheaper than what Todd Boehly did, but said it was the better bid. And I think that might be the same thing again. I don't think he can bid as high as Al Thani can. If the Glazers price everyone out of the